The following episode has been cursed with technical difficulties.
You must not avert your eyes. This is what is coming at us. Do not avert your eyes.
So anyway, what's the deal with that insidious-looking fast food mascot?
Oh, you mean the fast food drive-through speaker box built into the life-size statue of Dumpy the Rat from Dumpster Burger?
Yes, of course, I know it's Dumpy the Rat from Dumpster Burger, world-famous home of the Big Dumper Burger. But what is it doing here?
Oh, our guest this week sent it in.
Why?
Well, she's an author on a whirlwind press tour for his upcoming book and couldn't be here in person.
And the drive-through speaker box mascot is here for...
The remote interview, duh.
But like, it's clearly evil, right? I mean, look at it. Looming in the shadows, radiating malevolence. The plastic cracking from years of exposure, giving off a sense of decay that resembles rotting meat, staring at me with the same dead, soulless eyes of Mr. Beast.
Patrick,
Oh,
I got some bad news for you.
Jesus.
Podcoin tanked.
I thought you said the value was up.
Well, it was 2 weeks ago. Our $6,000 is now only down to $1,000.
Now, that's all your money, right?
No, that was 1,000 of yours too.
Right, but I didn't actually give that to you. I just wrote $1,000 on an IOU, so...
Theyve got all my banking information, so I'm sure they'll get it one way or another. Should we try to borrow money from Gimcrack to buy some more Bitcoin or Podcoin, whatever we call it? Podcoin.
I don't know that that's particularly advisable at this time. You're on the hook for quite a bit of money.
Could I borrow $4,000?
$4,000? I run a
Yeah.
rental store in the year of our Lord 2025. Do you think money just grows on trees in a rental store? I trade mostly in the value of souls. There's no like interchangeable rate that I can just give you $4,000 worth of souls, and most of those are a percentage to the Satan anyway. What are we even doing here? This is a show. You have a guest. Is this a professional outfit or what? I am trying to bring some quality. You just make it so hard.
Hey, Patrick, maybe we can get some money out of the guest.
The guest?
Well,
I don't-
yeah, something to help us. I'm in kind of a rut here.
How much
I
did you
don't know.
spend on Sigma Pill or Sigma Brain?
They gave it all to me for free, so I'm fine with that. I got a lifetime supply. They've actually upgraded me to the suppository brand. So
Okay, so on
that's-
that note...
so if you see me wiggling on my chair, I mean,
On the show tonight, we have a guest who is a 3-time Hugo Award nominee. I feel like this is the perfect note to segue them in. Author Bitter Karella. Hi, Bitter. How are you doing this evening?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, and I am excited to invest in this new crypto opportunity I've been hearing so much about. Podcoin, was it?
yeah, it's not at all a scam. We're not at all going to do a rug pull. It's completely legit. We're trying to make it the official currency of this little island in the middle of Oceania somewhere. But I'm going to make it the official currency there. So there's big opportunities that we've got.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you one thing. I am really excited about investing money in legitimate business opportunities. So this sounds just perfect. I am champing at the bit because I hear there's no way you can lose with Podcoin. It's only going to increase in value.
Exactly. See,
That's right. To the moon, baby. To the moon. Whole gang.
Bitter, tell us, this is your first time at Gimcracks and on the Found on Shelf podcast here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I am Bitter Karella, author, cartoonist, bon vivant. I'm mostly known for doing the former Twitter, now Blue Sky gimmick account Midnight Pals, which imagines what if all your favorite horror writers were to gather on the campfire and tell scary stories like in Are You Afraid of the Dark, the classic Nickelodeon series. It's also become 3 collections of collected microfiction and actual physical books and an audio drama podcast. Besides that, I've also got I'm also a writer in the horror sphere. I've got my first novella, The Ballad of Horse Girl, out with Tenebris Press, and my first novel coming out from Orbit in fall of 2025, Moonflow, which I will talk more about at length, I'm sure. But that's who I am. That's my bit. So.
So I got to tell you, I actually found out about you twice because.
Oh well.
So obviously I found out, like most people, I first found out about you through the Midnight Pals Twitter account at the time, and then I followed on Blue Sky now. But I found out about I was following Midnight Pals, and then a month or two into following it, they tweet out you tweet out that you're Bitter Karella, and I'm like, why do I know that name? So I go to my bookshelf and I have the Tenebris Press collection of trans stories. Your Body Is Not Yours.
Oh yes.
And you've got the divine carcass in that one, which is a great story. Which, by the way, the world building, that's awesome. Like the space Catholics towing the body of God is an amazing world to live in.
It is. That is a very fun story. That was yes. It's. I was raised Catholic, so there's a lot of that Gothic Catholic element in there. It was that particular story was actually my very first story that I ever got published. So it was a
wow
spot for it. It was the one where I was like, oh shit, maybe I can actually do this sort of thing. So it's led to some led to some fun places for me, and I'm really happy. But also Tenebris Press, can't say enough good things about them. Everyone should go out and buy Your Body Is Not Your Body. It's an excellent collection, not just for my story, but every story in there is a banger. So
it's true. They're all good. I just subscribed to their book club. So I just got, I think Casual's the first book this year, but I'm really excited to see what else they throw out.
Oh yeah. No, they've got some real good stuff, and I always like their Brave New Weird collections of just the best new weird of the previous year. Is the first one. They're all good as well. So
and then of course I've got Split Screen with Horse Girl. It's a fantastic story.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Also very good. I have no vested interest in telling people that, but it is very good. A little bit of a foray into weird Westerns. So that was, another weird one where it was partly based on a dream and also partly based on a text game that I had made previously. So
that's funny because this podcast is partly based on a dream.
More like a nightmare.
What's so bad about nightmares? Everyone always says it in such a negative fashion. I don't understand.
Can you tell us a little bit about Moonflow before we get into the show?
So Moonflow, available in fall of 2025. Although you can pre-order it right now, so of course you should. It is a psychedelic gore fest. It's basically splatterpunk, though the publisher's been calling it squelchcore. I think it's basically the same thing, except squelchcore is trademarked me. Now I think I'm founding the genre. It is the short capsule summary. It's about a trans woman who gets lost in a haunted forest while looking for psychedelic mushrooms and runs afoul of a hippie cult of lesbian separatists who worship a fungal god that they keep locked up in the basement. So it's got lots of exploding heads and blood flow and all the bodily fluids. I was writing it like, be like, oh, let's make this as gross and bad and disgusting as possible because the kids love that sort of thing. And I'm sure that it's not gonna that by the time it comes out, it's not like we're gonna be living in some sort of post-constitutional fascist.
Not at all. It's not heading that way whatsoever.
I'm totally not losing my mind every day. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Podcoin will save us all. It's okay.
This is fine. I'm okay with the situation that's currently unfolding.
It's not like we didn't use that exact image to promote the podcast.
Yeah, this is fine.
it just fits so well.
Sometimes you need a break from reality. You know.
Yes. So that's why everyone should buy my book.
Now, is there a better place to do a pre-order for that book? Like I saw you have it on Amazon, you have it on like Barnes and Noble, Walmart, all that stuff. Which one do you think is most beneficial?
Well, you can buy it wherever fine books are sold, but you can also buy it directly from Hachette as well. I think that's probably the best way to go, since you don't have to go through the Amazon middleman or anything. And I guess I don't know. Do you have show notes? Can you put links in that or anything? Is that a way you?
We could put everything.
Oh, excellent. Well, everyone check the show notes, and you can find the place to buy the book, which you should if you enjoy reading and if you enjoy quality literature. You should definitely buy this book and read it and leave a good review and tell all your friends about how good it is and how much they should also buy it. And if you don't like it, too bad. You already bought it. So
Sure, yeah, I've already got your money. It's perfect.
Yeah.
it's like, what do I care then? No, I joke. Hopefully, everyone will enjoy it. I think I think there's a lot of interest in this book. If you like it, I'll say this: it's like there's a lot of blood and there's a lot of sex. There's a lot of stuffing in this book, all kinds. If you like. I don't know, like all the different kinds of sex. It's all in there. Well,
if you excuse me real quick, I'm pre-ordering something. I'll be right back. So, squelch core is an interesting term. I'm sure it will be in no way relevant to whatever movie we watch tonight.
Yes, because we don't know the movie that we're watching tonight until the jackalope spits it on out.
Which is great, because I've got this black cherry soda, and I'm sure that won't be a problem later either. Cherries and spit are fine, right?
Yeah, I got a bowl of cherries. Nothing.
Nothing. This reminds me of that time that I didn't know what Salo was, and I brought brownies to the movie night. It was terrible.
Oh no.
That's a true story.
We're like the extra, like chewy, fudgy ones.
I don't know. They were on the counter. My mom made them. I just brought them. Also, the first time I got high. Great night.
Sorry, you got hot for the first time you got high. You were watching Salo.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if that was a good idea.
It's a bad idea all the way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've gotten high since then. I've never watched Salo again, though.
Yeah, Salo is a sometimes food, as they say.
All right, Dustin, do you want to put a coin in the fucking jackalope and see what movie we're gonna watch?
Let me introduce.
You have a
this
coin
podcast first.
Oh, yeah, that might be important, right?
Yeah, thanks for tuning into the Found on Shelf podcast, brought to you by Gimcrack Video. Check out what's new at gimcrackvideo.com, or check out our site, foundonshelfpod.com, or you can even give us a phone call. We've got a hotline set up, 252-564-8666. So you can call us and we might answer. Probably not. We probably won't answer, but you can leave a message.
I'm sure by this time this episode airs, there will in fact be a message on the receiver.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm moving the website from Angel Fire to Geocities. Do you think Geocities is like current, hip with it place to move it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should really you should check out gimcrackvideo.com. It looks very modern and up to date. It doesn't have shitty chiptune music. It doesn't have a little mouse trails. I don't know what you were thinking when you put that on there, but
I paid my nephew to design it. Is it wrong?
How old's your nephew?
42.
Yeah, that looks about right.
Okay.
Anyway, so
you have to have to hire the youngsters if you want a young-looking website. That's what I figured out.
Is that why you hired a 42-year-old?
Younger than me.
Yeah.
It's one of those little animated gifs of a little stick man in a hard hat, and it says "under construction" because you need one of those.
So anyway, I found a whole sack of coins in the alley after I woke up covered in scratches during our last episode. So I don't have to borrow coins from anyone. Thank you very much. Unless you want to buy Podcoin. So I'm going to put it into our magical what is this thing? Jackalope fortune telling machine?
It's a jackalope inside of a fortune-telling machine. The crystal ball lights up and everything. It's really quite
Yes.
entertaining. I thought it was
Alright.
novel.
Sure. And speaking of novels, don't forget to order Bitter's book. You like that? I'm the king of segues, by the way.
That's right. Except dollars US and Podcoin.
Yes, the only cryptocurrency approved by Bitter. So we're gonna see what movie we're gonna randomly get today. So here we go. Throwing a coin in the machine.
Look, I'm on a level with you here. I've never even heard of this one, and I'm omniscient.
Let's see here. Let me just grab that for you. Oh, look. It says it's Pinocchio.
All right.
No, wait. No, my thumb's on the title. I'm sorry. It says 964 Pinocchio.
Oh, that was the one that I asked you.
That's a lot of Pinocchios.
That's a lot of Pinocchios.
That is a lot of Pinocchios. And yeah, I don't know. Let's go check it out, guys.
What is that? What the hell have we got here, huh?
It was a bizarre piece of evidence in the trial of an accused child killer.
How could the man who made this have murdered his only child?
Evil comes in all shapes and sizes.
His lawyer believed he was innocent, but she couldn't stop his execution. Now, her daughter has been given something she was never meant to have.
Sorry, she spotted it before I could get it wrapped.
And the soul of a murderer may have found a new home.
Zoe's been having these horrible, violent nightmares lately. Zoe, what are you doing up? Her therapist thinks she has a lot of repressed hostility.
Pinocchio can't become a real boy if you keep doing bad things.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you know, Patrick, I'm sorry. That was the trailer for The Revenge of Pinocchio.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot more English in this trailer than the movie we just watched.
I was beginning to think something might be a little different. I was like, I just watched the wrong movie.
That was not the movie that we watched.
Well, you know what? We'll fix it in post. I'm sure it's fine.
Sure. It is, so we watched 964 Pinocchio, submitted for approval by the Found on Shelf podcast. I listened to the Midnight Pals today. So.
Oh well, yes, quality.
Exactly. Do you guys know the actual original story of Pinocchio? Not the Disney version, but the other one, like the actual version.
I know bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, so same here. I didn't actually read it all, but apparently in the original Pinocchio story, there still was the talking cricket who warns him not to be disobedient and lazy, and Pinocchio throws a hammer at him that kills him, and then he later comes back as a cricket ghost.
Fuck that cricket. Good.
It just goes to show you that annoying people stay annoying people even in death.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got one for you. Have you ever heard the tale of Tetsuo the Iron Man? Because this director sure the fuck has.
Oh, this director was an assistant director on Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Oh my God, does that show?
That explains a lot.
Okay, 964 Pinocchio, a early 90s Japanese shock film. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, feels a lot like the Guinea Pig series of films or something. You know that.
A film series Dustin keeps pitching and I keep shooting down.
Oh no, that was Grimcock, the crime wave, or whatever the hell that one was called.
You do them both at the same time as your bit. You just fire both of them at me, and I'm like, no.
Well, okay, Bitter, we'd like to do a little thing on our podcast where we got a couple of little games that we play here. One of them is the elevator pitch for this movie. So
Topic. Mm-hmm.
you are trying to convince somebody else to watch this movie. What do
Okay.
you say to them in like a really quick 30-second, minute-long, whatever?
Okay, well, you know the story of Pinocchio? This is not that. It's about a sex slave that gets memory weight. Okay, wait, let me start over because apparently I can't talk. It's got sex slaves who get who there's a sex slave in it, and some stuff happens. There's a lot of vomit, so much vomit. Boy, is there a lot of vomit. Do you like vomit? Here's some vomit. You're gonna like the vomit. Are you into Wet and Messy? Because this is a movie for you. There's so much of it in it.
It did have like a Vomit Dolls film franchise quality to it.
Oh my God, Slaughtered Vomit Dolls. Mm-hmm. Yes, Lucifer Valentine's magnum opus of. I'll tell you,
Slaughtered Vomit Dolls. Yeah, soon.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, watching that movie, I did get a similar vibe. At a certain point, I was like, "Wait a minute, was I just tricked into watching a fetish movie?"
Yeah. This movie does have a particular like, oh, is this a fetish kind of vibe, and it's really exacerbated by the pacing. Because it take every shot just takes so long. It's just like okay, I can understand a thing to have room to breathe, but at a certain point, when your character looks like they've been having ecstatic visions for like hours, you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie from a previous time, a previous era, when films kind of, they did take time to establish mood and ambiance, and audiences were like, well, life moves at a slower pace in this pre-internet world, so I'm willing to just sit here and watch the sunrise for like 10 minutes. But nowadays in 2025, since I have my attention span is completely shot, I was kind of like, yeah, let's hurry this up a bit. We've established what's going on. We need to get, I don't need to see Pinocchio running through the streets screaming for 20 straight minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one thing to watch like a 10-minute sunrise, but it's another thing to watch 10 minutes of a guy running, screaming, going crazy down. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, I did watch this movie at 1.5 speed. So I lost this game right off the bat. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should go back and watch Andy Warhol's Empire at 3 times speed and get through with it in like 2 hours.
Well, so I did a lot of research, since somebody commented on my last episode that I didn't do enough research, even though I talked about Shirley Temple's fucking stunt double. I mean, come on.
You left out the porn studio. You have to talk about the porn studio. Is there a porn studio in this one? Because I would not be surprised.
No, there's not. No. Well, unless you count underneath the freeways a porn studio. I'm sure there's lots of acts that have been done there that could have been in a studio.
So yeah, I don't think the people who made this movie had a studio. It seems to be all filmed just just on the streets of a Japanese city. I don't know which one. I'm going to. Yeah, which gives it a very real lived-in feel. I guess you call this a cyberpunk movie, and it really has that the gritty feel that you would really want from a cyberpunk movie, because they're just filming out on the street, in subways and malls. Random people walking by are not extras. I think they are just random pedestrians who are walking past.
Yeah, we'll get to that too. Yep, but that's pretty much that's pretty right on the spot.
Yeah, so I think they didn't really have any studio. It was just just film a movie. We're gonna make a movie, guys. But
yeah, and it's this guy that directed it. I did some looking into him. Shozin Fukai? I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but he worked for a film company that was doing a lot of indie films and music acts, and Shozin was in a band at the time, and he kept working because he loved music, but he got tired of filming the same bands. And then he met this group in Japan called Libido, and he became friends with the lead vocalist and wanted to make a film with him. And he was the inspiration for Pinocchio, and he said, hey, I got this film. I want you to do this. And a week later, the dude died from lung cancer.
Jeez.
And Shozin was telling all of this while he was smoking a cigarette in an interview.
Oh, that's badass. Badass. Dying is badass.
So that's the guy behind the movie, and I got a lot more to talk to him about when we get towards the end here. But we could talk about the actual movie itself.
Yeah, we could talk about the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had to watch this with the Wikipedia summary open because
Same.
yeah, while I will say this is a very interesting movie, it's hard to get into. You really have to take it on its own terms. It's not easy to follow, even though not a lot is really happening. I don't think I would have really understood anything if I hadn't been reading a summary, but it's about a guy named Pinocchio, and I guess he is a mind-wiped sex slave who gets thrown out because he can't maintain an erection, and so he's wandering on the streets. He meets a girl named Himiko, and they have wacky adventures together. Yeah.
See, there's your pitch right there.
Yeah. I guess that's more for the normies than the vomit angle.
Yeah, but this is a show for freaks by freaks. Yeah.
So the movie starts with a threesome with spliced in screens of a lobotomy. So there's that.
Yeah, that's how you know you're watching a Japanese movie. This is a movie from Japan. It's one of those movies that's like, this ain't your dad's movie. It's very in your face. It doesn't care if you're having a good time. I admire that about it. I admire its purity.
It's very that Trent Reznor clip that you see in memes, like, we're here to have a bad time.
Yes, absolutely.
Patrick, did I ever tell you about me watching Legend of the Overfiend?
Yeah, frequently.
Okay, I've got a shitty memory, but yeah, that was one of my first introductions to Japanese films and anime.
The fucking Overfiend movie, really?
It was Ninja Scroll and then Yurakizuki Dojo: Legend of the Overfiend, and we watched. A buddy of mine picked them all up on like VHS, and we're like, we're gonna watch all of these right now. So we got stoned beyond belief, and we sat and watched them. It might have been DVDs at the time, I don't remember, but I just remember we sat and watched them. And the first two were, with subtitles. And then the third movie came along, and whatever copy we had was dubbed in English. And we were all so stoned that we thought we watched so much that we could now understand Japanese. As it came in crystal clear to us, and we're like, okay, I speak Japanese. I was like, Neo, I speak Japanese now. I was like, all right. I do, and I don't. No, I found out I don't.
Only when you're high.
You might have noticed there's a through line in all of our media viewing stories here. Oh, God.
You were correct. This movie was a shoestring budget, and a lot of it was using guerrilla filmmaking techniques that they had to do. Usually, if it's just one person you see on film, maybe two people, and then there's just a bunch of random people in the background. Those were the guerrilla film shots they did. If they had to have two actors, they had to get a permit because that's just where they were, and they usually just didn't bother filming it. So that's why you should only see one or two people at a time.
Oh, interesting.
That's why that's where they have so many grocery store shots.
That actually does kind of work for this film, though, I think, because the very, you get a lot of, extreme close-ups. You get a lot of, weird shots of, people kind of just, where the shaky cam is just following a person as they go about their manic business. It really does give this film, this very unique, off-kilter, kind of claustrophobic vibe that works for the material, I think. And there's a lot of good I can say about this film, which I hopefully at least balances out the fact that it's not much fun to watch.
No.
I mean, depending on why you watch a film. Some of us watch films for edification. Other of us watch films for pleasure. This is not really a pleasure film, but it's definitely got its own fascination.
Yeah, if it is a pleasure film for you, then we're not kink shaming here. Go for it.
Yeah. I know people who would love the extended scene where Himiko stomps through the subway, vomiting for about 20 minutes or so, and then And that was all very normal. I was like, this is a normal scene to watch in a movie. But then when she vomits like a gigantic pile of oatmeal and rolls around in it, that was kind of like
vomit angels.
Yeah, I was like, at that point, I'm like,
I made the mistake of trying to watch that during my lunch break. It was not a good idea. I don't recommend it.
I described this scene as a cross between making vomit angels and having ecstatic visions and an orgasm at the same time, watching to whatever's going on screen. But Dustin was saying he had a trouble eating after that, and I'm like, well, Himiko didn't seem to have trouble eating after that. As she spends another 10 minutes or so eating her own vomit while watching Pinocchio transform? Question mark.
Yeah, it's very dark in those scenes when they're in the. I guess it's like I'm not sure where they are. Like Himiko lives in a. It looks like an underpass or something. Mm-hmm. I'm not really entirely sure where it is because it's so dark. But
you're onto something there.
Yeah. So it's very dark when they're in there and stuff is happening. I did like when they first arrive and you see that wall of like, air conditioners. Yeah. It's a very cool shot. It's just like there's a lot of these not sets, but the actual kind of industrial and warehouse locales of this Japanese city just give you that real like forbidden city of Kowloon feel, I think. So it's that the 90s that 90s Japanese cyberpunk thing. You feel like you're living in a cool arcade.
Yeah, and it's all very it was very much filmed kind of like Tetsuo, where it's just these crazy shots and these weird angles and just people like acting strange, and you're just like, you feel like you're just drawn into this world, just going, what the fuck am I doing watching this?
Yeah.
And not to jump the gun, but it actually even ends like Tetsuo.
Oh.
With the with like making a statement on their relationship as they mold into one being, and then it's like
you were paying attention.
Flash music. Yeah.
It's fun because that's the part where in the movie I was like, oh, it's symbolic or something. Yeah. I thought this was all literal. More the fool of me. It turns out it's like an allegory or something, I guess.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's like I guess is load bearing because it does feel like they're throwing all this stuff at the screen and they're like, wait, can we tie it together? Hold on.
Yeah.
And he takes a drag of that cigarette like he's just doing on the dock, and he's like comes up with some Miyazaki shit, just chain smoking, going, I've got it.
Yeah, it's because for most of the movie I was kind of like, I think I'm following what's happening because Pinocchio has been modified by this company that I guess makes sex slaves, and
yeah, they appear to like scoop unhoused people off the street and give them some sort of like lobotomies and turn them into sex slaves for private clients.
Yeah, which is actually like a very I think a very rich concept to mine. They don't actually dig into that very much in this film, unfortunately. Because I was like, oh man, this is so late capitalist, and then they kind of dropped that. Though we do get to meet the client who originally ordered Pinocchio, and she is a delight.
That's one way to put it.
She is a strong stage presence. I will give you that.
Like she is a strong, independent woman who is also intelligent, possibly. But she's a very like I don't know, like I don't know how to really describe this character except like she's a sort of whenever I see this sort of woman in a movie, I'm just like, oh, mommy,
That's definitely what they're going for.
Yeah. That's probably not the first time she's been called that.
Yeah, but she doesn't like Pinocchio because he's not up to the task. He's not up to the job. His nose don't grow, as they say.
Yes, you should have lied a few more times.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why they call him Pinocchio. Maybe that's why the movie's called Pinocchio. Now I think about it.
I think it was because he wanted to become a real boy. instead
Oh.
of a lobotomized sex slave.
That's true. It's like he's like he's a Casper Hauser type figure, an innocent wandering in this world he doesn't understand. But luckily he runs into Himiko, who takes care of him, sort of, for a while, I guess. they have an interest. Their relationship is not healthy.
No, and he meets her. No, she's like just sitting there on the street making maps.
Okay.
Just staring at people.
Let's unpack Himiko for a minute, because like in the dual opening is a montage of a whole bunch of shit, right? There's the threesome where he can't get it up and gets thrown out of the street. There's the lobotomy scenes. There's implications of a murder, and there's Himiko getting kicked out of the asylum she's living in after they say she has no memories. And this all happens very quickly in the same like chunk of time, right? I think it's implied that maybe Himiko doesn't have memories because she was considered for the sex slave thing. I don't know. But what is true is she's a homicidal maniac that had her memories wiped and is now living on the street. And there's an awkward pause here that's like lodged in my mind. I don't remember the wording, but like it's like you're out on your own, and then immediately cuts to her sitting on the street, and it's very like middle of Rent from here. We're shooting without a script, and then it's middle of the street. It's just like that same like beat for some reason lodged in my brain. But Himiko, clearly a psychopath.
Yes.
We meet her as the manic pixie dream girl who wants to take care of Pinocchio. But then after they have sex, both of their her memory comes back, and I think Pinocchio's does to an extent, and then he develops superpowers. But when her memory comes back, she remembers that she's a psychopath, and boy, does that change their relationship.
Yeah, so I think it said on Wikipedia that the actress who plays Himiko was originally a member of the crew, and last minute she got kind of promoted to lead actress, and this is the only film she ever started.
Literally a week before it was filming, they casted her.
Amazing, because like she is a tour de force, just incredible. I imagine she was just like she's in the crew, and they just looked at her and they're like, "This is a girl who can play like a deranged psychopath," and she nails it. She's just so off the wall once she finds herself. That constant deranged laughter really gets under your skin. So big ups to her, I guess.
Right, and then she never does anything again. And then like,
no. She just kind of goes. She goes cuckoo bananas, and then everything starts blowing up, and then it ends with her taking her head off, and she's got the big moon face of Mr. Melancholy from I Saw the TV Glow, and then they like merge together, and I don't know what I was okay.
Yeah, I've got explanations for that actually.
Oh, I would like to hear that.
Yeah. We'll get there in due time. So,
I just want to interrupt the show here because it seems to be moving through this movie at a quick pace, and I thought maybe our sponsors would like to get their ads in beforehand. So if we could just cut to something a little less scatological than all this vomit talk, and maybe do the ad read, guys.
All right, hang on a bit. We gotta read this ad. We don't even know. Like we used to find some sponsors, and now Gimcrack's been finding some weird things lately. But all right, are you ready for this, Patrick?
Yeah, hold on, let me find the right page. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Patrick, did you know that you've been shitting wrong?
I don't think that.
No. It's true. You've been shitting wrong your whole life. You see what I did there? Whole life.
Is this the actual ad copy? Hold on, let me see that.
Yeah, right here. It's right here. Whole.
Fuck. Okay.
All right. So it's one of the most basic functions of the human body, and you've been fucking it up.
This seems like a wildly aggressive stance for a company to have.
Yeah, well, that's where the Ass Blaster 5000 comes in. From the makers of the Stool, the footrest that you don't want people to know that you have, comes the Ass Blaster 5000. It's the alternative to toilet paper.
Oh, okay. So it's like a bidet, right?
A bidet. This is the next level in anus washing technology.
Are we still on script here?
The Ass Blaster 5000 delivers 16 different settings to thoroughly clean your undercarriage with customizable temperatures and scents. With an ever-expanding downloadable line of spray settings accessible with your monthly subscription to Toilet Premium.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
This AI-powered bidet can use AI to design a personalized cleaning experience, and then it this ad read just says like AI like 20 more times.
And this is a product that you can buy.
Yeah, apparently. I guess it says it goes up to 400 psi. Is that a lot?
Jesus, that's a fire hose. That's like an actual fire hose.
Oh, yeah, this is gonna get people killed.
Did the money come through for this yet?
No, not yet. The check hasn't cleared.
Cut it. We're done here. We're not doing this.
Well, I don't know. I for one would like to have a clean asshole, so I'm kind of sold on this.
See,
Ass Blaster 5,000.
Do you accept payment in Podcoin?
Another successful ad.
I've invested everything in Podcoin by now.
You can't go wrong. We promise there'll be returns.
Yes.
I can buy 1,000 ass blasters.
Yes, you can buy 1,000 ass blaster 5,000s.
My asshole's gonna be so clean you can eat off it. It's great.
And that's the pitch for 964 Pinocchio Part 2.
Yes.
Yes.
If you bought 1,000 ass blaster 5,000s, that would have like 5 million ass blaster. That's a lot.
That is a lot of ass to blast.
That is a lot of ass blaster.
That's a lot of ass to blast. God, why didn't we write that? This is why one of us is an award-nominated author.
Because of ass blasting. What are you telling me, Patrick? Okay, so all right. The Comey's sitting on the street making maps. And apparently she's making maps for other people that have lost their memories or something like that. And then she takes him to that weird abandoned building with the fans, and she tries to find out what his name is. And I think is it tattooed on him or something? I don't know what.
Yeah, I think it's his Pinocchio 569 or whatever is tattooed on his back.
8675309.
Yeah.
Pinocchio, for a good time call.
Yeah.
Pinocchio, I got your number.
It's like Pinocchio 420, man.
Which is kind of funny because when she's looking through this dictionary to try to find what that word was, it actually shows the name of the city that I grew up in, which was actually Pinole, California, and it was I'm seeing like Pinole in this, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, Pinole. I know Pinole because that's the home of Pinole bowling lanes.
Oh God, how do you? Yeah, yes, it is. My high school was just a few blocks away from there, and we had a bowling class, and they used to like have to walk from the high school to go bowling. That
actually sounds like a really cool class, actually.
Yeah.
A bunch of my friends named themselves. Their little group was the 420 bowlers, and the teachers didn't know what they were talking about.
Nice. I got a teacher's like, 420. Show us. What he is. Yeah, you guys, because you guys are not cool. You're not with it.
Exactly.
You old squares. Anyway, Pinocchio. So
she tries to teach him to say his name. So that's like the only like English words in the movie really are just Pinocchio. And that's it. And she says that to him over and over again until he learns what his name is.
Yeah. You got to fill some time, you know?
Or like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Movie's an hour and a half. I mean, it's hard to fill an hour and a half, so yeah.
How much more vomiting can we shove in this movie? We've got to stretch it with saying Pinocchio in a grocery store for like at least 10 minutes.
Yes, exactly. And then we go to the guy that's running the lobotomizing sex slave operation.
I swear to Christ, if anyone had more Power Rangers enemies, it's energy. It's these guys.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that, but yes, 100%.
If Power Ranger enemies, ate spit-covered cherries.
So the cherry thing.
Yeah, the cherry thing. Let's get into the cherry thing.
Okay, so what is this cherry thing? Like, he's got a big goldfish bowl full of cherries just floating in a liquid, and his secretary, who is very like platonic ideal of kind of a this type of henchwoman. What would you call her? She's like she's like when you have like usually in a Saturday morning cartoon, and there's like, your bumbling main villain, and he's got like a sidekick who's like this lady sidekick who's like very sarcastic.
She's like a Shigo.
Oh yes, exactly. She's a Shigo.
Yeah.
And she also spits cherries into this bowl that they have, and he eats them without knowing that she's spitting them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's aware that she's spitting.
I think later she's just spitting them straight into his mouth too. So
yeah. Yes, she is. So I guess he knows it.
I think he's into it. Yeah.
So what does this cherry thing mean? Is it? Does it mean something, or is this just, hey, here's some weird shit?
I think they just wanted to throw in some more gross weird shit. I think the characters think it's their kink, and I think the filmmakers are like, put something else kind of shocking and weird on screen.
I mean, I'm down for that. I like when movies are just like, here's a lot of weird shit. Does it hang together? It doesn't really matter.
Right.
Like movies like Nothing But Trouble or Cure for Wellness, like, are kind of like that, where it's just like a barrage of weird garbage for like an hour and a half, and it doesn't mean anything, but like, hey, are you not entertained?
Nothing But Trouble.
He's got a dick nose. Why? Who knows? He's just got a dick nose.
Why not?
It's
fun. But yeah, it's very weird. This guy, this main villain, I guess the head of the company, he is very high strung. He has got his blood pressure got to be through the roof, because this guy is not chill about anything that's happening in this film. But
I wish I could grab an English dub of this movie, because he says some line about, I give old ladies with big tits a blow of sexual shock.
Oh, yes.
He does say that, yeah.
It's like, well, don't we all? But he's very upset because that lady, the mommy Milf at the beginning, who she's pissed at like Pinocchio for not getting it up. She's like, I threw him out. And he's like, and he doesn't like this because then people will know that they make Pinocchios, so they have to find him and get rid of, they have to off Pinocchio. But he also promises he's going to give this woman a replacement. I don't think we ever follow up on that thread.
No,
but,
we don't. No.
I do love though that this guy wears those giant those kind of giant Rubbermaid kitchen gloves.
Yes.
Like Dexter's mom, and they just squeak constantly. I love that.
Which probably played into his the director's kind of prequel movie that he did, which was called Rubber's Lover.
Oh, okay. Now it's all starting to fit together. It is one of my favorite Foley sounds in this movie, besides Himiko's big stompy boots. But really puts you in the place. But the director does have a bunch of goons that he sends out to do his goon work. And these guys are a real pack of bumblers.
Yes.
Like real cartoon. Say again, Saturday morning cartoon guys who just can't do anything right. But they seem like the sort who they like. I think it's 3 guys.
Yeah, and you'd think if they were looking for somebody, they might spread out instead of just running everywhere together.
No, it's some Rocksteady and Bebop shit, like Karella said.
Yes.
It's like straight up.
They're like those three guys that Mom has in Futurama, almost.
Her sons, yeah.
Yeah. Just real like, okay, boss, sort of guys. I do think they eventually they completely fail to do anything, but Himiko eventually gets tired of Pinocchio or something. She doesn't like that he's a monster now.
Because there's this weird scene where they like go and touch tongues with each other, like they're about to have sex, and then the screen just freezes. And I thought like my internet froze up or something, because it was just like this weird static shot of them touching tongues, and I was like,
it was just a creative decision.
It was a very creative decision, yeah. And then and then after that is when Pinocchio just starts rolling around on the ground, blood spewing out of his nose, and like weird yellow paint. He looked like he was from street trash, just kind of pouring out of him everywhere.
Yeah, he looks like he's kind of leaking, I don't know, like insulation or something.
Yeah, and then she freaks out and starts to spasm. Like you said, this is a part where their kind of memories seem to be coming back, and she just like, yeah, I swear it seems like an hour-long scene of just throwing up everywhere in the subway. And I think all of this was guerrilla filmed, where she was just in a subway throwing up just to see what people would do. Because
yeah,
there's a lot of it where people are like just kind of like you would expect somebody to act as they're kind of walking around seeing somebody throw up. They just, everyone kind of stands off. It's like, ugh.
I have to say though that like this film is kind of interesting to see. I guess the general culture of Japan in the early 90s, because I feel like if you were like filming this in America, you would just constantly get interrupted by guys being like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you filming? You can't film me. I give no permission. My rights are being violated. I think this is an admiralty court, But in this movie, like, people see this and they're just like, I'm not getting involved, and just keep walking. So
yeah, the director was like, you can't do anything like this nowadays because people are just too, like you said, too involved.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like, you try to do something like that and it just doesn't work.
Yeah. But yeah, if I saw someone, rolling around in their own vomit like this in the subway, I would probably be like, you know what, not my business. I'm just,
I might go tell somebody about it, but I'm not.
Yeah, it's like, there's this girl over there. She seems to have vomited like several times her body weight, and now she's eating it. So, might want to look in on that.
Yeah, just a little.
It's gonna be something to clean up. So yeah.
But that after that, I think, is when she goes and she basically like finds one of the goons and is like, "Hey, I got Pinocchio. You should come and get him," or something.
Yeah, no, before that, she goes to the hardware store and like grabs the welder's mask and a bunch of like chains and shit. And
so she can, because then she's gonna just torture Pinocchio in a junkyard. She like chains him to a cinder block and like starts torturing him.
Yeah, she's like, I tricked your silly ass. And she's like calling him a stupid asshole. And I'm like, Jesus. And then she chains him and welds it to like this giant, like concrete pyramid looking thing that he's just got to drag around with him everywhere he goes. Weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah, not really clear on her motivation in a lot of this.
Yeah, it switches around a little bit. And that's when she finds the dude saying, like, hey, I'm going to take you to go find Pinocchio.
Yeah.
There's also a child kidnapping concurrent to this.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah, like one of the other goons was earlier in the movie saying that, like, I guess he and his wife were planning to adopt a kid, but then he just sees like a little girl walking around in the subway making weird squeaky noises as she walks, which, I guess is what you do when you're a child. And he just decides, like, why bother with the adoption paperwork? I can just take this one. And he just grabs and runs off. And again, I don't think that they ever come back to that.
No, they don't.
No, they don't really.
It's just the reason why he's not present when they need someone to shoot Pinocchio.
That could be it. And I've not been able to confirm it, but I really hope that was an actors in that scene, because I hope one. I think Patrick, you there? Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. You get to stitch together 3 audio tracks for this one. Okay. And then I guess we are almost to the end here, but I do have some things to tell about this. So yeah, the guy kidnaps the girl. Whatever. They go back to the building, and there's like a bunch of toxic gas going out, and dudes getting knocked out, and
Pinocchio ascends to his final form. I think we'll call this form Gold Frieza.
Yeah, he runs like full speed with this pyramid block through the streets. For
simplicity's sake, we'll call this form Gold Pinocchio.
Doing the what do you call it? The Naruto run through the streets of Tokyo, I actually don't know if this is Tokyo or not. Okay, excellent. Or if it's cyberpunk, it's Neo Tokyo always. But yeah, so he does the run, and I guess then he runs all the way to the place that does the company, I guess. And then he kills the guy, the boss.
Yeah, he punches him through his stomach, and a bunch of cherries come falling out, which is just amazing. That was like one of my favorite scenes.
That is great.
And the two henchmen, he doesn't even have to defeat them. They just collapse crying and are unable to function.
I mean, if I witnessed that, I mean, that's probably how I would react.
That's true. That's fair.
I did like the secretary's reaction, though, because, like, throughout the movie, she's been, like, you know, they've been implying, like, oh, like, she's so calm and collected compared to her, like, idiot boss. She's probably the real mastermind. I bet that's going to be the reveal. And then in the end, she's just like, what the fuck do you want me to do? You're always telling me to be in charge. Ah! And she just has that freak out. And I'm like, oh, I like that. That's pretty funny.
Himiko starts to tear her face off, and like Bitter mentioned earlier, has this weird giant stone meatball head.
Yeah, it's a big head. I don't know how she fit all that under her other head. Well, I guess that could be like, because Pinocchio obviously had a lot of weird modifications when he was modified. I guess we could make the assumption that Himiko also had some weird modifications. I don't know. Again, the way it's filmed, I kind of got the impression like, oh, we're like no longer now. It's magical realist or something at this point.
Yes, yeah, that's the right word for that. Yeah.
He runs up and squeezes her and rips her head off and puts it on his head, and then he says, "Everything is so clear. I love being with you."
Yeah, and like steam comes out of his ears.
I was hoping he'd fly. I was really hoping he would just fly.
Again, very much like Tetsuo when the two dudes merge at the end into one being, and they say like, let's fuck the world or something. Like it's very similar, except for then you see the giant penis mobile cruising through the streets of Tokyo, and in this it just kind of fades.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's about how the real magic was friendship all along.
It was the Pinocchios that we met along the way.
The real vomit dolls were just friendship all along. What a long, strange trip it's been.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. So I do have a couple of things to talk about this movie. So the filming of this movie took 6 months, and it took another 6 months to edit it. So it was a year to do this whole movie. And like we mentioned, he was an assistant director for Tetsuo the Iron Man, and he did the kind of weird follow-up Rubber's Lover, which I did find a copy of on the Internet Archive. It's like about a group of scientists who conduct psychic experiments on human guinea pigs they take from the street. So it was a very kind of like, and it was all black and white, kind of like Tetsuo. So it was very weird.
Okay, it sounds like there's certain thematic consistencies in his work, though.
Yeah, except for I think there's a bit more of a actual like plot line and story behind that one instead of just lots of random stuff. So it was funny that you mentioned a lot of this movie was filmed underneath a freeway overpass because they could not get a permit for where they wanted to film. So they shot underneath the freeway overpass mostly at night, and they couldn't afford to get a fog machine, so they just used smoke bombs to like get the little fog effect. But there were some neighbors that were complaining about the smoke and the smell and the noise, so they had to take a break from shooting. And then the director went and talked to each of the neighbors to say, hey, we're going to do this, we'll be done by a certain time, and we're only going to film for this long. And all the neighbors agreed with it. And they were like, okay, that's fine. And then they started filming again in January, and it was so cold out there when they were filming, but they had to do this at night and get it done. The people that complained started bringing them warm soup every night when they were filming.
Wow.
Right?
Now, well, that's real. I like the community involvement.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they weren't like, fuck this guy. They were like, yeah, let's, okay, he said he's doing his thing and it's going to be over. It's fine.
I think, again, to Bitter's point earlier, something that would not happen in America.
No. In America, they would probably just come and shoot you, honestly.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying it where I live.
So, yeah, this movie was released in the United Kingdoms under the title Screams of Blasphemy.
I can see the market they're going for. Very, very much the like, hey, let's bring the video nasties sort of thing. But that is a great title, though.
It is. I like it.
It reminds me. Sorry, this is a little derailment, but I'll just very quickly say this. When I was about 8 years old, and back in the old days, and my dad was all like, "Hey, here's a good movie for you that they're playing on TV. It's about, you like movies about like weird sci-fi and fantasy stuff. This is about a Yeti. I think you'll like it. It's called Scream of the Mutilated." And so it was funny. Like I watched it and did not like it, but at the time I was telling my dad, like, "So Dad, you thought Scream of the Mutilated was? You heard that title and you're like, that's an appropriate movie for an 8-year-old." Yeah.
I mean, I'd recommend it.
See, well, yeah, you would. You guys have very similar kind of upbringings. I mean, Patrick, weren't you telling me about some movie that your parents were into thinking it was a kids movie, but it wasn't? Like,
oh, I don't know. Here's what my parents would do. They would just watch whatever they wanted to watch, and if you were in the room, you were in the room. So I, watched RoboCop and Terminator stuff when I'm like 4.
Oh yeah.
So that's just the way I grew up. So I've watched all kinds of stuff like that. Like it could be Legends of the Fall, and I'm 6 years old watching the Brad Pitt sex scene, which I'm sure didn't affect me in any way. Anyway, you want to see my Brad Pitt fanfic?
Yeah, this was a lot. I remember my childhood had a lot of that as well, where it's like my parents like, "We're watching this thing. Is there sex or violence in it? It's fine. It's
it's fine. It's fine."
You're like, oh, okay. It's like that scene from Community. It's better not awaken anything in me.
Different time, because in those days you had one television, the whole house, the big cathode ray thing.
Yeah.
So the parents are like, "We're gonna watch something. You can watch if you whatever you can watch if you want to. If you not whatever. It's not like you have your own TV in your pocket to watch your own thing." But
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking up Shriek of the Mutilated and adding it to my watch list.
All right.
I can't in good conscience recommend it because it's not a good movie, but
that's never stopped anyone on this show before.
Quality is not a prerequisite for enjoyment on this podcast.
You can sit through Pinocchio 360 or whatever, then you can sit through Shriek of the Mutilated.
All right. You watch it on double speed.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. The legacy of this film. Okay, Shriek of the Mutilated. There's a footnote at the end of on Wikipedia, and it's worth derailing the entire show for this legacy. It says, in 1977, Michael Findlay, who is the director, was killed in a helicopter accident. And then the next sentence says, after her husband's death, Roberta Findlay went on to direct hardcore porn and kept adding to her horror filmography. Recently, some of her films have gained a cult following.
Good for her.
Good for her.
All right. This podcast is always just sidestepping pornography. It's
there's an absurd amount of porn history that gets littered through all of the movies we watch.
I mean, that's the thing is like, look, people, I mean, especially if you're looking at like, indie or low budget filmmaking, it's like porn makes the money. So almost anyone who wants to be in film, is going to like make porn on the side, which I mean, honestly, that's the way it is for the arts in general, Yeah.
It's true.
It's true. Any person that you meet who is in the arts some way, either a writer or an artist or a musician or whatever, it's because they learned they had a superpower, and that was to make their own porn. So they're doing it on the side. That's I don't know what musical porn is, but I'm sure if there are a lot of these. I'm sure of it.
Oh, you want to talk about musical porn? Have you seen Alice in Wonderland?
Wait, what?
No.
Oh, right.
There's a full-on Alice in Wonderland musical porn.
Is it Alice in Wonderland? I thought it was Cinderella.
Oh no, there's both of them. But the Alice in Wonderland was the first one I saw.
Charles Band produced these.
The Cinderella one. He did the Cinderella one, yeah.
The haunted bong man.
Yes. Oh God.
Okay, so before we get finished up here, so the guy that played Pinocchio in this, after finishing this movie, he went back to his hometown, got married. His parents were farmers, and he took over the farm, and that was all. That was last of him. Now, to get to the end of the movie from the director, Shozen-san, he said, all right, this is a quote from his interview. Since I didn't intend to ask the audience to figure it out by themselves, I will explain it. It is true that there were many people who complained they couldn't understand the ending. Some even told me that I was stupid. That's all right with me, because I am basically stupid. I loved the way people said I was stupid, so I just left the explanation unsaid.
King.
Okay.
But he follows it up later with, it's very straightforward, really. I don't want to get into details, so I will put it simply. What I wanted to convey was a sense of unity between two objects. I wanted to show what would happen if the dominant power, which comes with when mental anguish exceeds physical tolerance, is expanded. Both Pinocchio and Himiko were physically destroyed in the film, and we wanted to show how their consciousness combined. Therefore, it may appear very tragic, but their consciousnesses were very happy.
Oh, yeah, that's very straightforward.
Yeah. I totally got that. I read that like the first time, like immediately, like just like that.
Oh yeah. Well, when you see that in the movie, you're just like, oh yeah, their physical agony has exceeded their mental capacity, so clearly their consciousnces are very going to be combined and very happy. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, got it right there. Yeah.
Anyway, has anyone seen Martyrs?
I've seen Martyrs. I love legitimate theater.
Listen, Bitter, anytime you want to come back, just send me a message. We would love to have you.
I was a little bit worried. I was like, Patrick, are you sure we want to have a guest on this episode because we're doing this movie?
This movie is definitely a vibe. It's not a movie that I would necessarily seek out on my own, but I'm glad to have seen it. I feel like my cultural knowledge of the world has been enriched by experiencing this very unique vision. I don't, I'll say this, like many people, I don't know that I understand the movie or even, what I'm supposed to get out of it, but
consciousnesses were happy. What's so hard to understand?
Yeah, I just feel like it's. I guess I should say, like, having watched it, I'm okay sitting with the discomfort of not understanding it. Like, I don't need to I don't feel the need to 100% understand it. I feel like this movie is something. It's more to be experienced than anything else.
Yeah. I agree with that. And yeah,
we love an experience on this show.
Yeah. I love having new experiences. I love the pleasures of the gaze. When I see a movie and I'm like, yes, sex and violence on the screen. That's good. That's my jam. Not so much the vomit. I could take or leave the vomit. That's not really my thing.
It's fine.
It's not as bad as slaughtered vomit dolls, because on the after a few minutes I was like, come on, man, what are we doing here?
But I so rarely get a chance to work that movie into conversation. I haven't.
Have you seen, because when we rented it on DVD, it came with a featurette where the director, Lucifer Valentine, the try-hard name, was describing his vision for this movie.
I don't know that I've seen that.
It was when I was listening to it, it was just it was just him talking, so you don't see him, but he's talking, and it's him describing I grew up on a plantation in South Africa with only my sister, and we started having sex together when we were 8, and it's what? It's insane, rambling, very Flowers in the Attic kind of monologue that culminates with him talking about how he just loves when girls vomit. But it is one of the most insane things I've ever heard, and I'm not entirely convinced that it's not an elaborate kayfabe.
Sure.
Guy's named Lucifer Valentine, but
right.
But I also haven't done a whole lot of research into him. I saw the movie and was like, that's enough. That is as much as I need.
I'm good.
Well, that's a hell of a story.
Yeah.
Dustin, you want to play the final act of the show?
So hold on, I'm going to play something here.
In a way, I brought you here to offer you a job. You think you can do it better, so here's your chance.
That is the voice of Morgan Freeman as God saying, if you think you could do it better, here's your chance. So we do a game on the show where we do 3 things. 3 things that you have to change about this movie. Only 3 things to make it a somewhat a better movie, a more watchable movie, a more mainstream kind of movie.
Or fun in any way, or weirder. Whatever you think would make it better.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would 3 things that you think would make it an easier sell to get somebody else to watch it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to limit yourself with this one, I think.
You know what? We run into this problem a lot where we either have way too many things or nothing that we want to change. Like if you change it, you fundamentally change the movie and it's not good anymore. And sometimes it's like, oh God, I want to change everything.
Yeah.
You're limited to 3.
3. Okay. Well, me personally, I would probably cut the bit where Himiko vomits a giant pile of oatmeal. I mean, I would keep in the part where she's stomping around and puking. Like that's fine. Because I was watching it, I'd be like, yeah, this is normal. And then she gets a giant pile, and I'm just like, my suspension of disbelief just doesn't work anymore because, you can't puke that much. It wouldn't even be solid at that point. You'd just be having, bile. It's like, what, am I supposed to believe this? I don't get it. But, so I would probably get rid of that and the eating vomit bit, too. Just, because I'm a normie. It doesn't... It doesn't gel with me. I hate to hurt the director's vision, but that's my first thing. I think I would actually the other thing I would add a bit of closure to that whole child kidnapping plot line.
Yeah, that seems like that would be nice.
Completely.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I mean, in the sense that it's like explaining, oh, this guy, this goon couldn't make it because he's off committing an unrelated crime, But yeah, I would just like a little bit of closure there because if you're gonna introduce it, come on, Chekhov's gun, it's got to go off. I would also, I think, finally, I would also like a bit of closure to this storyline about the mommy Milf getting another sex slave. Just because I don't think she got nearly enough screen time. I would like to see more of that character. I think whenever she's not on screen, everyone should be asking, where is Mommy Milf or whatever I know her name. So I'm just calling her Mommy Milf, I guess.
Mommy Milf needs to be taken care of. All right. That's all we need to know.
Nice.
Patrick, do you have anything that you'd like to add to this?
I mean, those are all good changes, especially definitely on board for less of the vomit. But I will say, Bitter, you pitched a twist earlier where the henchwoman is the mastermind, and I think that'd be cool to shove it at the end.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one, actually.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. There we have it. 964 Pinocchio. I guess that kind of wraps up what we've got about the episode. What was you want to plug your pluggables here, Bitter?
Buy my book. It's called MOONFLOW. It's coming out from Orbit in September of 2025. It's a rollicking roller coaster of splatter, psychedelia, and goo. There's lots of goo. It's about. Should I go on about what it's about again? Just because? Why not? I will. All right. Here's again the capsule summary. If it got cut out earlier, or if you just want to hear it again, it's about a trans woman mushroom poacher who goes into the woods, the haunted forest, to look for psychedelic mushrooms, but ends up falling afoul of a lesbian cult of hippies who worship a giant bound fungal mushroom god. There's also lots of fat sex and raccoons in the book, which those are good things too. I think they're good things, so that's why I put them in there. And it's for responsible adults of discerning taste. So, if you are one of those people, you should go out and buy it right now. Walk, don't run to your nearest proprietor of dry goods books. That's what they call
goods, whichever.
And purchase it with your cash monies, with your dollars American while they're still around, your Trump bucks once they come.
Your pod coins.
With all the pod coin in your pocket.
All the pod coins, it's what's the exchange rate right now for pod coins? It's
for one soul, 4.3 pod coins, so a little bit better than Doge.
That's I like those odds.
We are the Found on Shelf podcast. If you think that what we do is funny, you can find us every other week on New Release Tuesday, where on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also find us online at social media at Found on Shelf Pod, all one word, on Blue Sky. That's right, only Blue Sky, because it's the only social media that has yet to fall to the Nazis. Please stay tuned.
And we are recording this a little bit, a month or so before it comes out, so that might have changed.
We have a bit of a buffer. Things are happening fast and furious, but what won't fall to the Nazis is foundonshelfpod.com, where you can also find all of our episodes and get in touch with us if you need to there, or at gimcrackvideo.com. Dustin, what else do we need to say?
The phone number 252-564-8666, 25286 or 25.
Get it right, you fucking noob.
5648. I think I hear my little friend crawling through the things. Anyway, 252-564-8666 is the number, and asked to speak to the benign tumor that I threw up after eating too much Sigma Brain. And I hear him crawling through the vents as we speak, so that's fun. Leave a message. We'll play it on air. Yeah, that's about all I got. So buy Podcoin.
Almost professional. I have to admit, I was almost there. You guys have come so far.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, vote, review, resist, renew, recycle, have your pet spayed, neuter, lather, rinse, and repeat.
And don't, as always, remember to de-rat your anus before going on air.
De-rat your anus.
You can use the ass blaster to do that.
You can use the ass blaster to do that. Great product placement.
That's right. Squeeze them for all they're worth.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm playing some outro music.
So are we just stuck with the Dumpy the Rat mascot statue now?
I think so, yeah.
I don't like the way it looks at me. I think it just moved.